Hi, my name is Annie, and welcome to the Walking Word, where we go through the Holy Bible in a year as part of discipling. We are currently in the book of Judges, chapter 15, and it's about Samson defeating the Philistines. But remember, we are moving into this chapter knowing that Samson is coming from a place of anger. His best man has taken his wife. He's been lied to by the Philistines. He's been manipulated by his first wife. It gets even thicker. So he's angry. He's killed about 30 of them at this point. After some time, in the season of the wheat harvest, Samson visited his wife, bringing a kid. But when he said, "Let me be with my wife in private," her father would not let him enter, saying, "I thought it certain you wished to repudiate her, so I gave her to your best man. Her younger sister is more beautiful than she. You may have her instead." Samson said to them, "This time the Philistines cannot blame me if I harm them." So Samson left and caught 300 foxes, turning them tail to tail. So tying them tail to tail. You take tail to tail. Can you imagine having grabbed what sort of strength and might that is as a human being? You capture. I, 300 foxes. Can you imagine 300 foxes? And foxes are wild. I mean, they're fierce. They might be tiny-ish, but they're fierce. So Samson left and caught 300 foxes, turning them tail to tail. He tied between each pair of tails one of the torches he had at hand. So he lit all the tails with fire. Then he kindled the torches and set the foxes loose in the standing grain of the Philistines, thus burning both the shocks and the standing grain in the vineyards and the olive orchards as well. When the Philistines asked who had done this, they were told it was Samson, the son-in-law of the Timnite, because his wife was taken and given to his best man. So the Philistines went up and destroyed her and her family by fire. Samson said to them, "If this is how you act, I will not stop until I have taken revenge on you." And with repeated blows, he inflicted a greater slaughter on them. Remember, Samson is not operating with an army. This is solo man. This is how we know Samson is one of the judges. Not only was he a judge, he was a prophet. He was the whole military in himself, and he carried the Spirit of God, not only the one we have with understanding, but he also carried might, because the Spirit of God is made up of 8 spirits, and one of them is might, physical might, like physical power. And we know Samson carried one of those gifts. Okay. So in verse 8, and he repeated blows, he inflicted a great slaughter on them. Then he went down and remained in a cavern of the cliff of Etam. The Philistines went up and from a camp in Judah deployed against Lehi. When the men of Judah asked, "Why have you come up against us?" they answered, "To take Samson prisoner, to do him as he has done to us." 3,000 men of Judah went down to the cavern in the cliff of Etam and said to Samson, "Do you not know that the Philistines are our rulers? Why then have you done this thing to us?" He answered them, as they have done to me, so have I done to them." They said to him, "We have come to take you prisoner, to deliver you over to the Philistines." Samson said to them, "Swear to me that you will not kill me yourselves." "No," they replied, "we will certainly not kill you, but we will only bind you and deliver you to them." So they bound him and with 2 new ropes and brought him up from the cliff. When he reached Lehi and the Philistines came shouting to meet him, the Spirit of the Lord came upon him. The ropes around him became as flax that is consumed by fire, and his bonds melted away from his hands. Like it just fell off, like poof, like nothing. And fell off. And fell off. Near him, verse 15, was the fresh jawbone of an ass. Okay, so the jawbone, if you've ever seen the jawbone of a cow, an ox, and any of those, or an ass or a donkey, it's something something about that big, just your two hands together, very tiny. Then Samson said, with the jawbone of an ass I have piled up in a heap. With the jawbone of an ass I have slain 1,000 men. As he finished speaking, he threw the jawbone from him. And so as he finished speaking, he threw the jawbone from him. And so that place was named Ramalehi, which means heights of jawbone. Being very thirsty, he cried out to the Lord and said, you have granted this victory by my hand to your servant. Must I now die of thirst or fall into the hands of the uncircumcised? Then God split the cavity of Lehi, and water issued from it, which Samson drank till his spirit returned and he revived. Remember, he was living in a cave, so he hadn't drunk water for a minute, and now he knows he has to go for war. Hence, the spring in Lehi is called En Hakore, the spring of him who cries out. So it gives water to him who cries out. To this day, Samson judged Israel for 28 years in the days of the Philistines. Okay, in chapter 16, we shall now go into the juicy story of Samson and Delilah.